Welcome back to Good Day State Line. Life is better when you're having fun, and someone who sure knows how to have fun is Taylor Calmus, the host of Magnolia Network's new show, Super Dad. Hey, Taylor.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. So Super Dad is a pretty unique DIY show. I don't think I've ever seen something like this where you're actually building things, but then you're building them purposefully to play with them with children. Tell us how it came to be.
Yeah, so Super Dad is a half-hour show where I basically come alongside another dad and help him make a really cool backyard project for his kids. But it's kind of more than that. It's more than a build show. It's also a show about dads talking about what it's like to be a dad in 2022.
So how did this all get to happen? What were you doing before Super Dad?
Sure, so I have a YouTube channel called Dude Dad, and where I post a lot of sketch comedy and stuff, but I also make elaborate builds for my own kids. And, you know, I started doing that, and several of those went viral, and then Chip Gaines saw it, and it kind of, you know, went from there.
It fit the Magnolia mold. They have a lot of kids.
Absolutely, yeah.
So tell us about some of the projects that you've built with your own kids.
Sure. One of the most recent ones we did, we live here in Colorado, and we got a big snowstorm, and we've got this little park in our neighborhood with kind of a small little sledding hill. So me and my friend DJ went out with a tractor, pushed a bunch of snow up, made a better starting hill, and then used shovels to just form a luge track with a whole bunch of big windy berms and rollers all the way through to make a longer sledding track for the kids. And as we're out there working on it, 6 other dads from the neighborhood came alongside with their shovels and started helping out until it just became this like amazing creation. And then next thing we know, there's 30 kids playing on it.
So your kids are pretty little. Do they actually know that like you're on TV and they're part of the show and they're doing such cool things, or they just think you're fun?
I don't, they definitely like have an idea because the cameras are around enough that they're like, oh, cool. You know, like they know how to like mug the camera and stuff, which is pretty funny. Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping someday they'll look back and just realize what a fun, unique experience their childhood was. And I hope they see it that way. I mean, we've done a lot of really fun stuff together, and they've got to experience a lot of really fun, cool projects. So hopefully they'll, you know, take on the tradition to their kids as well.
Yeah, what is your favorite thing that we're gonna see in this season of Super Dad?
It's probably gotta be the pirate ship. We built this like huge pirate ship for these 3 little boys, and in their like suburban backyards, they got like these white fences, and then just towering above the fence is this enormous pirate ship. And when we revealed it to them, like their dad like walked them through the whole thing with this like ridiculous pirate voice and just got really into it. It was hysterical.
I bet the dads that get to be a part of your show are having so much fun and just didn't really think that this was ever going to be an opportunity that they had either.
Absolutely. It's really cool to just sort of see where we start with them on day one, when we start, you know, talking about the project and then building the project. And then when we finally get to reveal it to their kids, because the kids don't know anything about it until we reveal it. And that moment that we reveal it to the kids and you get to see how it affects them, I feel like, you know, like the kids obviously fall in love with it, but then seeing, you know, how that makes the dads feel is probably the coolest part.
How much time do you actually spend with each of these families? Like, I'm sure on TV it feels like it's just a half an hour, but it's probably not.
Yeah, I mean, the designing process happens, you know, a month or 2 before, where we start talking with the dads who we've casted, and each of them get casted for, you know, various reasons of having an interesting story, or, you know, they're just truly a dad that we want to lift up and say, this is a super dad. We want to come alongside him and do something cool for his family. But we start a couple months in advance, just prepping and planning and figuring out the project. And then it's, you know, 3 hard days of labor. I make sure that every single dad sweats on the project as much as possible, so that when his kids, you know, ask him, Daddy, did you build this? He can truly say yes.
Cool.
I was a part of that. So
that's so awesome. Well, Taylor, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Super Dad is on the Magnolia Network. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more Good Day Stateline.